As you guys know, I handle a lot of new construction and I help families save a lot of money while doing it. But today I more specifically wanted to talk about closing costs in regards to new construction and how it looks a little bit different than if you were to buy a resale home that's on the market. Now you may be wondering, Demi, why does it look different? It's a buyer's transaction. It should look the same. Well, it's because you're really only doing a transaction with yourself. So there's a builder, not a seller. So it's not that things are broken in half or prorated or escrowed in. So everything is just plain the way you see it. Now, are there incentives that come along with new construction? Absolutely. Are we here to talk about this right now? No, because we're talking about the closing costs and the breakdown of that. And because I'm sure you're not a numbers person, and if you are a numbers person, you're probably still going to appreciate it. We're actually going to go ahead and pop up the numbers on the screen so that we'll actually fully be able to follow all of this along. But this is just for a standard property here in St. Johns County, more specifically here in Nocatee, because that's where I'm at today, doing this presentation for you. But if we were to purchase a home in Nocatee, on average, we're probably spending about $750, just on average. So if we were to purchase a home at $750,000, putting down 10% of the home, which is typically what I see a lot of my out-of-state buyers doing. And the interest rate, everything is in there, loan amount, all that good stuff. Now, let's get to the meat and potatoes, which is your closing costs. Now, this is gonna be your appraisal, your credit report, tax service fee. Let's get into meat and potatoes of the actual closing costs. And I'll also tell you if this is typically a builder only or if this is a normal buyer one that you would have if you were to purchase resale. So let's start with the top. All right, the appraisal, that is a typical one that you guys would pay for anyways in regards to your closing costs across the board. And of course, those prices can vary as well. Then you also have your recording fees, your state tax stamps, your intangible fees. Now those also are ones that are typically split up during a transaction rather than having it where you're splitting with the seller, you're taking on all of that. And then of course, because we're in a CDD community here in Nocatee, there are fees that incur with that as well, with the HOA estoppel as well that comes into that. Now, if you're not in an HOA, you're not in a CDD, those fees won't be there. But honestly, if you're looking at new construction, I guarantee those fees are in there. And then of course you have your estimated prepaids, which are gonna be your homeowner's insurance, your hazard insurance, and your property taxes that are gonna happen within that time that you've owned the property. Now, one thing I do wanna highlight, because I know a lot of people freak out about property taxes, especially when it comes to new construction, because they say, oh my gosh, after the first year, my property taxes went through the roof. Now, you should have an escrow account that your mortgage provider puts in place when you are purchasing new construction. They give you a lot amount for escrow to not have as big as like a whiplash of everything that's changing, because the thing with new construction is that the first year you're actually only paying on the land, the property, especially if the property hasn't been done, completed, gone through everything by the year that you're purchasing it. So you're paying only taxes on the land for that first year. There is a reason it goes up. There's a house on the property. The land is assessed differently now. And so because of that, you have to pay based on the home assessment, not on the land assessment every year. So a lot of people get that overwhelming confusion of what the heck happened. And it's really just based on that and not properly being educated in it. But now you guys have been, so you won't be freaked out. So for this example that we're looking at, your closing costs are around $17,000. Now, builders have different incentives during different times of the year, and each builder is different. So just because this says one thing, which this one actually has nothing on it, because I wanted to make sure we were as crisp and clean as possible, because we don't know what's happening. We don't know if you would rather have a closing cost incentive or a rate buy down incentive. You kind of get to pick how those go. You could ask for both. Again, it depends market to market of what you're able to get. But typically I see about $10,000 up to $15,000 of closing costs given to the buyers in the specific market that we're in. And specifically for Riverside, for my clients who just went under contract, we did get $10,000, but it's not always going to happen, and it will never be the same, and no transaction is exactly the same in this market or in any market by all means. But I just wanted to give a breakdown of what those closing costs look like, because sometimes we don't get to see those closing costs until the very end. We'll get the estimate when we first go under contract, whether that's building the dream home or whether that's in 30 days of closing, getting ready for the school year to start. But no matter what it is, I want to make sure that there's a full understanding of it, and understanding, and not real estate-ese, not speaking that language, but That is exactly what goes into specifically builder closing costs when you are purchasing new construction. Until next time, I'm Demi Judd with Real Broker. I'm here to make finding home here a little bit easier.